Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and hot rodders of all ages. We got a little time today, so we're going to jump back on the Tribute T. This is a kit by Speedway Motors. I am not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or forms. So now that all the legal stuff's out of the way, we're going to talk about master cylinders and brake pedals and installing that today. So as you can see, we're coming up, and we're going to need to take the body off. I apologize for having to do some voiceover on this. I'm a whole lot better at building hot rods than I am running computers and shit like that. So, hope you enjoy it, and sit back and let me walk you through this. All right, folks, so as you can see, we've got the body off now. Show you right down here. This is where the master cylinder will bolt on. It'll go back towards the back. Linkage will come out here and go to the throttle, or not the throttle, the brake pedal assembly. It'll go through here. It'll come in from the outside of the frame, and it'll have a where the linkage will be on the inside. So we'll go ahead and we'll install that right quick, and we'll see where we're at on the next step. So the kit comes with some really nice stainless steel hardware. We're not going to use that for mock-up. We'll go ahead. It's got the elastic nuts on there. I only like to use those one time. So we just got some regular grade 8 3/8 bolts. Not grade 8. Yeah, grade 8. Grade 8 3/8 bolts. And we'll just mock it up with them. And then when we do the final assembly, we'll go ahead and put all the stainless steel fasteners in it. All right, so you can see how easy the master cylinder goes on. And let me find the pedal assembly here. I've had these all, I did sandblast all these, all the machine fitting or surfaces that'll go through the bushings and stuff. I did have them taped off, so just to protect them. Pretty simple and straightforward on this. So as you can see it, nice and tight next to the body, or next to the frame. The body will be on this side. Hopefully this will line up with the hole in the body that's kind of prefab there. One issue I did run into while getting parts rounded up. This is my parts for the master cylinder push rod. It says it's 4 3/4 inches long, which is great. Unfortunately, let me zoom in here so you can see what I'm talking about. So this rod goes right here. And as you can see, let me get my knee to hold that up. I'm going to need something with about 9.5 inches before the pedal comes down. So as you can see, when these two pieces are together, they're not even near 9.5 inches. You look like about 6.5 inches on that when these two pieces are put together. So I'll have to go back to the catalog and find the correct part for this. It's no big deal. That's just part of building hot rods. So let me zoom back out, and we'll pick the body back up and set it back down and see if everything works. Okay, a little more voiceover action going on. Once the body's put back on, I always like to put all the body mount bolts back in. There's 6 of them, if you remember correctly on this. Now, you don't have to tighten all 6 back up, but at least tighten one up on each side. That way it keeps the body in line. You don't have to worry about misalignment and tight tolerances like this body has on everything, as close as everything fits. You don't have to worry about having one piece just misaligned a little bit. And I like to use this little 1/4 inch impact driver with my 3/8 adapter in there. It just works a lot better. It doesn't have a lot of torque on that. So then if you have, something's a bolt head is, or a bolt is misaligned in the body, it won't cross thread it. Where if I had my 3/8 impact, it would cross thread it pretty quick, and then it'd just be another problem I'd have to figure out on fixing. So, which isn't a really big deal, but this doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have a lot of torque on this, so it works out perfect for that. So we're going to lay on the ground here in a second. We're going to look at how this brake pedal comes in. As you can see, it's hanging down here. Look how nice they've got that where it tucks up between the frame and the body. That's going to look really nice. You won't see it at all underneath it. And looks like we've lucked out and they've lined up that access slot really nice. Looks like it's about an 1/8 inch where the pedal hangs down, about an 1/8 inch on there, but that's okay. We could just make that hole a little bit longer, but I'm really happy with the way that lines up. So they did a good job on that. So let's jump up onto the top here. Tell you how we're going to cut this hole in here. So I just take a regular flashlight, I set it on the floor, shine it up on there, and you can see how it illuminates where the cutout's going to be. See that right here? So what I like to do is, I take a Sharpie marker and I just draw on that floor. You'll see right where the light shines through, and that's where we're going to, that'll be our cut line. Now there's a couple different ways I can do this. I can use a cutoff wheel. I could use a round hole saw. I'll just take a 1/2 inch drill bit, drill me a couple holes in there. One thing you want to do though is I got in a little bit of a hurry here and didn't tighten my drill chuck up all the way. And you'll see here in a second I lose my drill bit. No harm, no foul, just makes it a little embarrassing when you do it on camera. So I just drill a couple holes top and bottom, waller out a little bit in there. Okay, you can see I lose my drill bit. Now, when I'm working with this fiberglass, I always try to wear a long sleeve shirt, and I usually try to put gloves on. I run out, so I didn't have any on at this time. But always vacuum that fiberglass sawed or that fiberglass shavings up. It'll get in your skin and it'll drive you crazy for a while. So a little tip on that: if you do get that fiberglass on your skin, wash it off with cold water. If you take cold water to it, it kind of closes the pores and forces it out. Where if you use hot water, it'll go ahead and drive it back into your skin. So now I just take a 4-sided flat file and I'll file on that. Make the corners all nice and square, because we do have a square or a rectangle. Make it a rectangle hole. Like I said, you can use a drill bit or a hole saw on that and just make a round hole in it. I think it looks a little nicer with a rectangle hole. I will be ordering a JJ's Rods rubber boot for the bottom side of this that the brake pedal will go through and just keep that little extra stuff out, road grime and whatnot. So I probably got about, 5 minutes on making this hole the correct size that I need. So it's just a little filing, a little cleaning, a little checking. Make sure to, see when you get the pedal to come through. probably going to be our last vacuum up on that. I'll do a little, there you go. She's coming through pretty good. Just a little bit of more filing on that, and I think it'll be pretty nice. Okay, a little disclaimer here. I wound up going through my parts box again, found the correct parts. As I showed earlier, I only had these two parts for my brake. Totally forgot that this has got a rubber grommet, and that snaps into the master cylinder. So I've got all three parts, and I'll be able to put the brake rod together, and we'll be able to go from there. So they did send all the parts correctly. Okay, let me show you one little thing that I run into with the brake pedal hooking up to the master cylinder. So this is a clevis that's in the master cylinder. As you can see, it's got a simple clevis. Pin goes in. So yeah. Theoretically, it's supposed to go like that and slide over there. Okay. So with that being said, this has got a threaded hole in there, which is a 3/8 fine thread, which is a whole lot nicer. It falls in or threads in there. It also fits that hole really nice. So what I thought is I'll put that on there and put this elastic nut on the back side, and it'll be able to spin on there. One problem is slot A does not go into tab A, or tab A does not go into slot A. All right, so I've got took the belt grinder to her, polished her off, got her down to about a little warm yet, about 375, and I was going to go 400 thousandths on there. Okay, and it really doesn't matter, 400,000, 375 thousandths. That's just a few thousands on each side. That paint will take care of that. So one thing you want to do is, after every step, one thing I like to do after every step is go ahead and put it together, make sure that part's going to work. That way, if something's in a bind 10 steps from now, you don't have to backtrack and figure out why it's not working. So we're about ready to wrap this video up, as you can see. And if you like what you're seeing, go ahead and smash that follow button, subscription, whatever you want to call it. And thanks for watching.